Hey everybody, this is Darwin Ray. I'm the Festival Director Hospitalet de Llobregat, Barcelona International Film Festival. It's a quite long name, but yeah, it's my beautiful city. We have today a great filmmaker, Alex. He's the producer, he's the writer of this great movie. You tell me if I pronounce it good. TORINAOSHI.
TORINAOSHI. Yep.
How are you, Alex?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for being with us. We really appreciate your time, Alex, so much. You guys been having a lot of success with this because this is like a web series. How can we define this?
That's right. We wanted it to be three things. We wanted it to be a web series, mini series, short film, but also like a proof of concept for a feature film.
Gotcha.
So we sort of packaged it and released it initially as a pilot, but really we were able to cut it into episodes.
Nice. Alex, let me ask you about what is the idea coming from? I can guess a little bit watching the film, but how the idea came to be possible to have this that we have now, and how do you work with the Yusuke, which is the writer as well? How you guys managed to write? Because for me, it's pretty difficult to work with another writer. How is that for you guys?
Yeah, especially because it's two languages.
Right.
So essentially, I sort of wrote the original premise, some of the original characters, and some of the original story. And then I met Yusuke because he had some great films in the, do you know the 48-hour film festivals they do around the world?
Of course.
So Osaka has one, and Yusuke did really well in them, like 3 years in a row. And I was sort of at home watching some of his short films. And basically I thought, wow, if we can combine the concept for TORINAOSHI with his directing and his filmmaking, and I could tell that he had a lot of continuity between his short films. He used the same actors. It felt some of the, not the same techniques, but just sort of, I could feel continuity between his short films. I really liked that. So I could assume that he was working with the same team, maybe the same camera department and the same production people. And so I basically emailed him, got on a plane, and then we sort of spent a month in pre-production, a month and a half, and then 2 weekends. We spent 2 weekends filming the web series. It was about 2.5 to 3 days per episode. And so, you know, I grew up in Japan, but my Japanese it's not very good. And so he really helped me to localize the content. And then in the end, he just improved everything.
Alex, how is to work with, that's great what you just said, but how easy or how difficult is to two writers work in the same project? There's plenty of that. But how was for you guys?
Right, especially two writers who were strangers, who didn't know each other. Well, we just had to kind of meet again and again and again and make a process. And I think the thing that helped us was that obviously we had a limited budget. And so we were just cutting and cutting and cutting. We're cutting the script for the budget, but we were also cutting the script for things that were not good. So it was a good editing process to find out what you like and what you don't like about each other's writing. But he's the director, so of course he has the final say. And basically it was, what could we do and what did we want to do with all the constraint we had on resources. And you know, he's the local, he's the Osaka guy, right. And I'm a guest in the country. I'm a guest in the city, and so I was just really lucky to work with a director who would also sort of allow me to write about his country, write about his city. And again, it was the localizing. The localizing was the most important thing, because you cannot go somewhere and just sort of put a template on a place. And even though I have familiarity with Japan, I was in the Japanese school system and obviously had spent a lot of time in Japan, but you cannot replace somebody who is born and raised in that place. So
Right.
specifically
Wow.
as writers, yeah, I admit it was hard. You know, it was hard to have somebody sort of saying, you know, with a red pen, nope, we're not going to do this. Nope, we're not.
Yeah,
You know, so
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
we had to
How you
had to
guys
kind of figure it
agree?
out.
Yeah, how you guys
Yeah, we had
agree?
to.
How? Because this is difficult, right?
It
Because
was,
you have an idea and another writer got another idea. For me, it's very complicated, to be honest. I work with a few
yeah.
writers and but I want this, and he said, no, but we don't need that. You know, this is, and then I feel
Yeah,
frustrated, to be honest. How was for you?
totally. You have to. I think what works is like if somebody doesn't like something, then you have to replace it with something that's even better.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, and so and then we were able to also kind of do a little bit of brainstorming together, so that if there was a scene that wasn't working or a scene that wasn't true or authentic, then we sort of had to kind of sit there with, you know, with our coffees and just sort of spitball and just a little bit of like improvisation on the spot with writing. But then of course nothing can replace when you're at home and you're sitting and thinking, you're going for walks. You know, every writer's different. So yeah, that was pretty. It's pretty. You know, we had the template, not the template, but we had the base pilot script, and we like surgeons, we just sort of jumped into it.
Yes, that's the interesting thing about writing. Also, with another, tell me the name. The name. What is the name? Where does the name come from? Who was the idea of the name? It's a beautiful name, actually. It's attractive.
Yeah, TORINAOSHI. It's actually a sumo term, which means a rematch, or you know, the guy in the middle with the paddle. He's
Right.
if two wrestlers cannot come to a decision, if the judge can't determine the winner, if they both land, for example, then you have to go again. And so because it's also TORINAOSHI is a cultural series about roots and backgrounds, but also moving forward with the past. It was kind of the main character's sort of rematch to try again with her home roots country.
Tell me, how was the production time? The production time. How was you say 2 weekends? How much work you guys put into it? I guess it was a lot. How many hours you guys shoot? Just walk me a little bit the process.
Yeah, we you know, luckily we had a good studio space, so we met every morning, you know, 7, 8 a.m. and we hair and makeup. We had full hair and makeup department, wardrobe department. We worked with really great local artisans in those departments, and that really helped create the environment for the actors to sort of feel that it's a really good space and that they can also sort of get into character, because we had some veteran actors, so of course we wanted to appear as professional as possible. But we also had some newcomers, and so I think it helped them, because I think the best thing for actors is just to build the environment. So even before they get into character, they have to feel like actors. You know, you have to treat them like actors as well, in a good way, obviously. And then we loaded into the vans, and then we had actually some big company moves. There was one day which was there's a brewery scene in the third episode, which took us, I think, like an hour and a half to get to. So it's about a 3-hour round trip in big vans.
Wow.
And it was August in Japan is super hot.
Wow.
Like 110 degrees. And so the scene where we stage the rally, it's in a basement of a bar. And so that was another 100-degree day. And all the poor actors, the extras and the background guys, we were just trying to give them as much water and tea and cold tea as possible, just to, you know, just to keep, we don't want anybody to pass out, you know, that would not look good. So, and it was, we told the guys, you can start smoking, because it was a scene with a lot of smokers, you know, and those guys smoked for like 4 hours because they like smoking,
right? Yeah.
You know, so there was like an excuse to smoke. But we thought they were going to smoke in between the scenes to help with the environment, but they smoked for 4 hours straight.
Oh my goodness. For you guys.
Our eyes were watering, and
Oh my goodness, I can't tell. Tell me about the Yusuke. How do you find him as a director? What the things you like the most from him when he directs?
Yeah, I liked all the actors in his short films. I liked the comedy. There were some, I think that every director, there's something that they do, whether it's indie or maybe big studio, they do something that makes you say, "Oh, I feel like that little moment was for me," you know? And it's kind of,
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but he had a bunch of those moments in his short films.
Hmm.
Um, and I thought, "Oh, that's unique. I think the comedy can work." And um, just number one that I really liked was I could tell that there was like a continuity. He had a team, and
All right.
I think one of the most important things with indie work is just sometimes you're making sausage, right? You're making it. That's how you get better.
Hmm.
Is just sort of going back to, and also one of my favorite things is directors who, like if you look at Wes Anderson, he uses a lot of the same actors.
Hmm.
um,
That's right.
and there's a few others. Their name is escaping me, but that's just my favorite type of directors, the guys and the ladies who use the same actors again and again. And he had that in his short films, and I was like, oh man, I really want to work with some of his actors. And
Uh-huh.
I could sense that there was a good spirit with his production team and with all the actors that he had worked with before.
Wow. Nice, nice. It's a shame we don't have a Yuseki now, but he's gonna join us soon, so he can tell me more about his
Yeah,
directing style. Let's go to
yeah,
post very quick, Alex.
yep.
How was who edited the film, and how you guys work with the editor, or how's the relationship? How you guys do that?
Yeah, yeah. So the people that we had in post production, so Yusuke was editing. Another great thing was we had a colorist, Ryota Mori, who was also kind of like a consultant as well behind the scenes, helping us with lighting on set. But a colorist, I always knew that colorists were important, but when you have your first project with a colorist, then you realize, wow, this is pretty amazing. And we actually on our channel we have a breakdown of the scenes
Oh
before
wow.
and after the colorist. And
I
thank God we had a colorist. It just makes a world of difference. It really helps. And I recommend to anyone, if you can make friends with a colorist, please do so.
Yeah, I gotta
uh,
watch that. I gotta watch the series. Interesting, interesting.
and it's also, you can put in special effects. I'm not super technical, but so when I say things, sometimes it sounds like a kid talking about it. But the special effects, for example, we cheated New York. Everything was shot in Osaka, but we had scenes that we
Hmm.
made look like we were in New York.
Yeah, correct.
And the before and after video on our channel, it shows like Japan, and then how he put New York backgrounds and scenes into it.
Wow.
Um, and then we worked with Percy Jones, who is a great musician from Kobe, Japan, and also originally from Buffalo, New York. And so he made great background music and a soundtrack. And he also works in Japan with Japanese musicians uh, in Japanese and in English. So we were able to sort of get some of his great. He made new music, but he also had prior music from just sort of his catalog that he and we also had P-Lander Z, which is a really cool punk band based in Austin, Texas right now.
Hmm.
And we were really lucky. They allowed us the use of one of their number one
Wow.
songs.
Wow.
So they're like a Japanese punk band. So we were really glad. But basically for post, it was Yusuke editing. And then we had great music opportunity. And then the colorist really came in and just sort of put the ribbon on top.
Yeah, Alice been so helpful telling me. Now we have telling me all about the film. Now we have Yusuke, which is the director. Yusuke, how are you?
Hi, good.
Beautiful. So, Yusuke, tell me about the writing process. Very quick. How do you write this film with Alex as well? How was that process of working together?
Actually, at first, Alex just texted me. We didn't know before the production. He just he searched me on Google and, hey, I'm going to Osaka, so I want to film something with you. And how do you think I'll bring my script? And I have some small budget. So how do you think?
Wow.
And I was very suspicious about that. And what the hell is this email? But yeah, but I decided to meet him because he stayed very near, very close to my place. So we hung out together and we talked about 3 hours with beer. And oh, I can trust him. And let's do something together. And his script was about half Japanese, half American, like that. And at that moment, I was also thinking about some story about half Black, half Japanese. It's different story, but we are thinking about the same topic. So I feel like, oh, this is what I want to do, and yes, let's make it more, make it better story,
Right.
and let's make something together. And yeah, that's
So
very interesting
nice.
experience.
Yusuke, tell me, how was easy for you to co-write with Alex the script, or there were challenging moments? Yeah, everything was very fluid, the flow was nice. How was that?
I think it flows very nice, and at one time I changed too much. I think I invaded his territory. And just one time Alex get mad. Hey, this is my script. Oh, sorry. It's like
yeah, we were talking about that with Alex. Yeah, so that's interesting.
Really?
That's interesting. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, mostly it flows very nice, and I feel good to collaborate with him.
Wow.
Me too.
Nice.
Yeah, Alex. So yeah, you were happy, right, with the collaboration with Yusuke, right?
That's right. Yep.
That's
No, it's
cool.
funny because he asked the same question earlier, and I was like, oh, it hurts so much when someone's saying nope, nope, nope. nope.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But I said that you always put in something better, and so he said, how can you work with a writer? How do you accept changes? And I said, well, he always puts something better to replace the bad stuff. When I think of difficulty, it's great to hear Yusuke's perspective. But I guess as a producer, when I think of difficulty, I think of actors not showing up potentially, or crew members being lost or something. But luckily, when we didn't have any of that, we got lucky, I think.
Hey, that morning when we shoot that scene, you woke up late.
Yeah, actually, I woke up late.
Another producer woke up late, and another producer was supposed to playing Minoru.
Yep.
But both producers didn't wake up. I went to pick him up.
Oh my goodness! What's wrong with those producers? Huh?
Yeah, I went there, and he on the taxi on the way to the studio, he asked me. He never thought I am the director, and he asked me, "Oh, hey, who is the director of this?" Oh, it's me. Oh, sorry. You're so intense.
Oh my God, you guys are
That was
funny.
funny. Maybe he thought I'm the assistant or something. Yeah.
This is beautiful, guys. This is really filmmaking, guys. So, Yusuke, now that we have you, how you guys, you and Alex as a producer, especially you, how do you decide was the last master of the TORINAOSHI? How do you decide was the final master, the final cut? Do you show it? I know Alex, but do you share with more people to get feedback, or is something more personal that you see it, how you edit it, and then you say, hey, I like this. This is what it goes. Or you change if people telling you, hey, maybe we should do this. Maybe. How's your approach to decide the final cut of your film?
Basically, I showed only my personal friends, relatives, and my coworkers, and Alex. Just 5 or 6 people. I
Mhm.
showed them, and everybody says, "Oh, I like that." So I think I didn't change a lot. Just
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't change. Mostly that is the first version, I guess.
Mm.
Mhm.
Just
How
change the
long?
color and the sound, but
How long did it take for you to edit the film? You remember? How many hours
uh,
do you put into it? How many months, weeks do you remember?
when did we finish?
Finished
We
filming at the end of
finished
August.
filming about August. End of August we finished, and I started editing until uh, 2 or 3 months. But
Mhm.
after I finish, I always do that. After I finish editing, I I'll go away from the product because I want to change my mind and I
Uh-huh.
want to rewatch from plain mind. So, and after 2 months, I'll go back to my laptop and I check out audio. We go on the process of audio and
Mhm.
color.
Mhm.
So cutting is just 2 months, something less than 2 months, I guess.
Right. How much you movie changed in the editing process? Did it really change from what it was written on the page? Do you move scenes, switch them
Not
here?
really.
How? No, everything was totally pretty much the
Yeah,
same.
yeah, same as the screenplay.
Yeah, I use it sometimes, and when I was editor, they use it to. Sometimes they forgot they didn't take that shot, and then they start moving around and trying to solve the whole situation.
I think
But there
one
are.
thing, yeah, I think one thing was, I think comedy is very difficult in any genre, in any realm. Comedy can be so difficult, and I
Oh
think
yeah.
that Yusuke and the cinematographer, I think they had a really good shot selection list, and so they had great shots that allowed them to pick and set up so that the natural editing allowed the comedy to work. There's a scene on the bridge where the uncle is he keeps making this joke about his niece. It's a
Mm-hmm.
joke to the audience, but it's not a joke to him. To him, he's really asking, who the hell is this girl? But the way that the shot list, the shots that Yusuke picked and that the cinematographer picked and put together with him allowed for the natural comedy to work. And so when I was watching the rough cut, the first cut, which came about a month and a half after we finished filming, I was waiting for those moments. And every time we hit those moments and they worked, I jumped up and I said, yes, they work, they work.
Nice, nice, beautiful.
Comedy's so
So
hard.
yes, definitely, comedy is a really hard. Is one of the hardest for sure in filmmaking. What about we were talking about the music. The music is something that you guys decide in the post-production time, or it was in the pre, or you have in your mind already the music, or it was something that comes on the post-production? How was that process of selecting music?
There's a funny story. We were in the middle of filming, and I had written a band name, and the main actress Megan says the band's name in the scene. And before we shoot the
Oh yeah,
scene,
yeah, yeah.
Yusuke looked over his shoulder at me and he goes, "If you can't get their music, I'm cutting this scene."
Oh my.
I spent a
I
month.
see that.
My mission was to get that song.
Wow, you did it,
They
huh?
tell that really. Oh, wow.
So you say,
Pressure.
okay, the music. So how do you decide the music? How was that besides what Alex just tell us? Uh, how you work with music? How was your approach? How with the music
Uh,
of the film?
he, I, we asked the music with the guy from Buffalo who lives in Kobe, which is very near side of Osaka, and
Mm-hmm.
we were friends since five or 6 years, and I posted on Facebook some about production, like we casting. We posted casting call and those things, and he saw that post and he just called me and hey, let me do the music.
Yeah.
And we at that moment we had no choice, and I was sort of like, it should be someone who knows Japanese culture and Western culture. So he must be the perfect. He must be he suit for this post. So I asked him, and yeah, he did really good.
Do you give a reference of the music that it was in your mind, or you tell him, hey, I want this? How was that? Was verbally like telling him, hey, I want this music here because of this, or you pass reference of other music and then you say this kind of music? How was that process?
I sent just 2 or 3 reference music, but we went to the studio and we met and we watched the entire episodes with him, and I just give him some ideas, like this kind of, but I'm not sure if he gets everything because my English is bad, so I'm not sure we could communicate. But yeah, but I'm satisfied.
But he did great. Yeah, I got 2 more questions, guys. Before I let you guys go. My first question, one of the last questions, is what do you think is the most, for both of us? What is the most difficult part in filmmaking? Filmmaking, everything is difficult. We already know that, but there are 3 phases, right? Pre-production, production, and post-production. Which one is the hardest, difficult one that for you as a filmmaker, guys, you think? Of the 3 phases, which one you think is the one we're supposed to give more time or soul in it? Which one?
For me, it's pre-production. Because every time when we start filming, oh, I should have done this. I should have done this. And when we move on to the editing phase, we think, oh, why I made this choice. Why I made this choice? I should have changed the script. Yeah. So production, but if I think if we could done perfect pre-production, every time we regret at some moment. But yeah, pre-production is most difficult, I think.
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm not an actor, I'm not a director. Directing is not my medium. I never had a dream to be a director or anything like that. So I have a lot of respect for the actual production. So much respect for the actors, so much respect for the director and cinematographer, and all the hair, makeup, wardrobe, everybody. And so I think for me, probably production is the most difficult, just in my mind. For me, it's kind of stressful because you're nervous that somebody's not going to show up. You're worried that the scene's not going to work. You're worried, not in Japan, but in other, like maybe in New York, you're worried that the police are gonna tell you to move, or that somebody's gonna screw up your set, because filmmaking can be intimate, and so you're worried that a stranger's maybe gonna interrupt or something. So for me, it's production because of the scheduling, and because people might say, oh, actually I changed my mind, I can't work that week, or no, I'm not free that weekend, or yeah. But in Japan, I think one of the great things about working in Japan, in my opinion, is that people show up when they say they're going to show up. Yusuke, I said to Yusuke, hey man,
but I'm not going to show up. I didn't show up today. I didn't show up today on time. Sorry.
Yeah, Yusuke is becoming too American, but with the extras in America, we always have to overbook. If you need 15 extras, you have to hire 20 or 30. because they're not going to show up. In Japan, I said to Yusuke, hey, we need 16 extras, so should we hire 20? And Yusuke said, no, they're going to show up. And sure enough, they were, the best extras in the world are in Japan.
For sure, yes, definitely. People are very disciplined there. Guys, my last question is about the film we have in our festival, TORINAOSHI. What's the feeling you guys want the audience have when they finish watching this episode? What's the theme? I mean, everybody's different, so the perspectives are going to be different. But for you, as both of you as a graduate, what's the feeling you want them to have when the film is finished, the episode?
For me, it's put yourself in other people's shoes, and just because somebody doesn't look like you, it doesn't mean that they're bad. It doesn't mean that they could be your family. They could be, you never know.
Guys, thank you so much for your time. Okay.
Likewise.
Thank you. Sorry for being late.
Hey, the producer fell asleep. The other one comes late. Kidding, guys.
How did this get made?
Thanks, Alex.
No matter what, you guys made beautiful work. So that's what it matters, right? Take care, guys. Thanks a lot. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.